in your face.
Alright, let's go test the vocal cords real quick. All guns away, we are good to roll. G'day, good evening and welcome to the program. Today my name is Diesel Smith and we'll be talking about the battle of Christianity and science. And did Jesus really rise from the dead and perform miracles? Like so. Jesus dead, rising, and he's alive. See, I don't believe so. First up, we've got Matthias Schnell, the Christian, who is filling us in on his thoughts.
Hi, my name is Matthias Schnell, and my faith is a very real thing, and is the primary motivating force in my life. My parents became Christians when they were very young, and as I grew up they made a profound impression on my faith and taught me about Christianity, until I finally started following Jesus when I was 13 years old. My commitment to Christianity was a growing awareness of God, more than an overnight change. The joy I have is connected to my relationship with God, and it remains constant, regardless the way things are going in my life. There is a lot of evidence for Christianity and the existence of God. One of the most important issues that people face in my religion is accepting and believing the fact that Jesus once died, he was resurrected and ascended to heaven. Although many people deny that this occurred, there is a lot of evidence which proves this is right. Over 500 witnesses saw Jesus' body after his death, and on 12 different occasions. Jesus' disciples also testified that Jesus' resurrected body had flesh and bones. One of the strongest pieces of evidence is also that many of his disciples died as martyrs, supporting his resurrection, and those who denied it just did so to avoid resurrection.
After this ad break, coming up next on the program, we've got Jack Slater, talking about his thoughts on science and how really the world was shaping.
But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. And I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. And so I'm back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. Weren't you the one?
Hi, I'm Jack Slater, and this is Science. Now, one thing I don't understand about resurrection is the reason for it. What was God or Jesus trying to prove? What was the point? He supposedly died for our sins, but why rise from the dead? Doesn't that defeat the purpose of the whole sacrifice? How can you claim you died for humanity, but then come back to life a couple of days later? Also, if the resurrection really occurred, then wouldn't it be one of the most important events in history? So you'd expect some convincing evidence. However, any evidence of the resurrection is quite indiscriminate and crumbles under the slightest flaw, mainly because there was no actual eyewitness accounts of it. The Bible is our only source of evidence, but stories of the resurrection were compiled together decades after the actual events by unknown authors, and it is also generally acknowledged that whoever wrote the Gospels wrote down the stories from spoken word. These presumably have been changed throughout the years. And Paul, who claimed that Jesus appeared in front of 500 people, never actually met him, and this is not mentioned by anyone else in the Bible.
Although there may not be a lot of evidence for Jesus' miracles, this can be justified. Not many records survived from the time that Jesus was alive. And most people were illiterate, meaning that they wouldn't have kept diaries of the miracles that they witnessed, or diaries that were lost over the years. 99.9% of the writings from that time have been lost for the simple reason they didn't think they were worth preserving. Thank you.
I do not believe that Jesus performed miracles. There is no extra biblical sources that wrote about him during the time he was alive. Not a single historian who lived during the time of Christ was supposed to have wrote of him. All of the historical records came later and are written by people who were not even alive during the time of Jesus. So they must have been working from what others told them. Thank you very much. One of Jesus' most famous miracles is when he walked on water. Watch now for a complete demonstration. Myth busted!
Hands up for a filthy drop.